Do do do
Okay,
do do do
got
do
it.
do do.
Do, 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 do. Hi, guys. Welcome
Hi,
back to
hi
Find Your
everybody.
Beach. Welcome back to Find Your Beach podcast. This one's going to be a weirdo one
What are you doing on the
because
floor?
I'm having an adventure. I'm
Where?
in the. Can I finish the intro, Andy?
Yes.
Okay. So, guys, this is going to be a weird episode. I'm currently in the Orlando airport on the floor. Andy's at home. My flight got delayed, and so we are doing this recording over Zoom. But the next two episodes, I promise you, the sound, the video, it's all going to be better. We will be better. We will do better, as the white women say. And yeah, so that's the story. That's the background. Andy, how you feeling?
I'm great.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm doing great. I'm awesome.
Do you have any announcements for your shows this week?
Nope. No announcements
No?
for shows this week. You can look at my calendar on I'mAndyHaynes.com and you'll see that
And
I'm at shows around New York, but nothing totally out of this world.
okay. I have one show tonight that I wanted to make an announcement about at the Fat Black Pussycat Lounge. If you're listening to this on Monday, it will be tonight in New York City. The show is sold out online, but if you show up early, you can get seats. So just show up at the Fat Black Pussycat at 7 p.m. or at probably better to show up at like 6:30. And you can come and see me do new material. Also,
And
we do
Luis Gomez is opening. Tony
Joe Rogan,
Brooklyn. You got
Tony
Rogan?
Hinchcliffe. Yeah, everyone.
I said Tony Brooklyn.
Yeah. And then we also do bad advice on this podcast. If you want some bad advice, you should text us at 917-540-8395. We'll be doing them at the end of the podcast today. And we have some new reviews, I believe, on iTunes that Andy's going to read.
You have some new reviews. I would love to read those for us. I don't really know what this podcast is about, but it's funny as fuck. First heard Rosebud on Chelsea Handler's podcast, and now I've been catching up with all the back episodes. Thanks for being part of my days. That's titled Hysterical from Ray G.
Nice.
Thank
you, Ray.
Another, love it. Glad I found this podcast. Binge listening from the beginning. Thank you, Michelle LG.
Hell yeah.
What about this one from GB? I heard of Rosebud and FYB podcast from Chelsea Handler's podcast, and I'm glad I did. I love the back and forth banter. It's hilarious. I've been binge listening to the entire podcast this week at 2 times speed. So when I went back to listening it cuts off, but
oh, I remember. She said she went back to listening to it at regular speed, and it sounds like we're both on lean.
Oh, this is a good one too. Great find from Bush. From Bush
Good.
123. All they said was that. But here I got a special one. Somebody DM'd the Instagram account and sent us a message.
By the way, you can always do that too, guys. You can DM our Instagram, Find Your Beach Pod.
And this is from Brad, and he said, "Are your Australian reviews coming through?" And then he sent a screenshot of a review that I haven't seen yet. So here it is. This is from Come On Cletus, and it says, "It's a blast. I became aware of this podcast when I met Andy, who I mistook for taller, more scoliosis, crooked Michael Stipe in dialysis."
Sweet. Loved it.
Andy shared
Love
his new book, My Eyes Are Up Here, A Life with Tisms. This led to a connection with Rosie, who sent a lovely cameo message to my wife on her 40th, reminiscing about being finger blasted in Disney World. And that really did happen. This podcast is an excellent example of what Rich and Bonnie's life probably looked like 17 years ago when they loved each other and themselves. Aww.
That got sad at the end.
Thank you, Cletus.
Thanks, Cletus. Sorry it didn't post, but you guys, if you are a listener to the podcast, please post your reviews on iTunes. Makes a huge difference. Lets people know about the podcast, and you get a little shout out. We will be done with announcements in 2 seconds, but we do definitely want to shout out our Patreon members who have joined. Thank you so much. You guys make the podcast possible. And you can join our Patreon if you go to www.patreon.com/findyourbeach.
And with that, welcome to the beach, Nick Walschmidt, Alejandro Ledwin, Rachel Goatley, Ash Hole, Jesse Sears.
Ashhole?
That's
Ashhole.
Yeah, I think her name is probably Ashley. And she's got a great sense of humor, you know?
I love it. Yeah.
Thank you, Ash Hole.
And then who was that last one?
The last one was Jesse Sears.
Jesse Sears, welcome.
We thank you for your support. It only can go up from here. So Rosebud, you're in Orlando, which is kind of your spiritual home.
Yeah, it is. I fucking love Florida. I really do. The audiences here are incredible. I went to Orlando. I went to Universal Studios Orlando yesterday, which is probably the best theme park in the country. Rode about 6 coasters, and I am a coaster head now. That's who I am. And I hope you're cool with it, Andy, because this is the new incarnation of me. I've reached my final form. I think I'm a coaster head.
Well, okay. First of all, it's the correct term is a roller coaster enthusiast, but
that's not what we call it. I'm sorry, but in the coaster community, that's not what we call it.
Here's the thing: you're trying to play this game, but I'm already ahead of you because my brother dated a roller coaster enthusiast for
coaster heads
5 years, and at every Thanksgiving, I got to hear about all the roller coasters. And I've always wanted to do a documentary.
I know that was decades ago because your brother's gay. Okay. So you said it was a she, correct?
No, I said it was a he. He was a gay man that was into roller coasters. And I'm not talking about when you get your white blood cells tested.
I'm positive you said she. Okay. I'm positive.
Well, we'll have to play the tape back. It'll be a fun reveal at the end. No, I'll tell you. It's so he's like one of my favorite characters I've ever come across because he's from the suburbs of Philadelphia. This man's name was Will, and he had the mannerisms of like a gay old queen. Like he was very like, what? Don't bother. He was always wine drunk. Didn't matter the time of day. Usually more drunk than he needed to be for the situation. But so you can imagine that energy, like Moran, you know, like just like classic gay. Yeah. But it all came back to roller coasters. It was like a classic
just really gay, like kimono and a fan.
Exactly. But then all of it came back to roller coasters and a savant-like knowledge. So it was so bizarre because he'd be at dinner and he'd be like, this stuffing is wonderful. But let me tell you, last week I went to Cedar Point and I finally rode the Scorpion, and oh my God, a 450-foot climb to a 200-foot drop to a loop with an arcing bank and then a 450 rollout. And I was like,
well, like, that's it was just like how we talk, you know, coaster heads. We like to know the stats. That's how we are.
I guess.
I don't understand why you're not more thrilled for me, but we'll address that.
Because all you get is wins. All you get is wins. First it's his comedy career, and then you get just invited into the coaster head community.
Yeah, listen. Some of us were born to ride. Okay. And that's who I am.
I so badly want you to leave me for a roller coaster engineer. I would love that so much. I would love you to have a Susan Sarandon like turn where you go into, you know, she went into ping pong. I want you to have that with roller coasters.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that much of a turn. You know, I ride your mood swings all day long. So
Ba-doop
It's
boop boop. Ba-doop ba-doop boop.
okay. So I had an idea for today's episode, which was because I was like in the car just like reading relationship quotes because I sort of have a bone to pick with people who post like memes where they're like, I know my worth and no one can take it away from me. And if you think that you can, well, sister, you're wrong. You know what I mean? And I'm like, can you just send this to the one person that you're directing it to?
Hmm.
Because the rest of us are being dragged into a silent fight that you're
I
having with
love
someone.
I love that that's the social media of like basic bitches. I love it so much. My little sister's kind of a basic bitch, and she will always post things that are like, God, give me the strength to get through today. And it's like, you were customer service at Amazon. Like what could
You
be
got
going
what you need.
on? Yeah, I
Yeah.
think let God deal with Syria, okay?
Hmm. Yeah. Let's leave that to God.
Yeah.
Also, he's not on Instagram. Okay. I don't know where God is, but I know he's not on social media.
He's definitely not
Um,
on it. If it's any of the apps, it's not Instagram.
yeah, this is a godless place.
Yeah.
But so I'm reading these and I was like, it would be fun to do an episode where we kind of break a couple of these down. And so I picked
Hmm.
some of my faves.
Okay.
And okay, so the first one is the wrong relationships teach you how to recognize the right one when it arrives. Agree, disagree? Where do we stand with this?
Um, I mean, sure, but also
Because yeah,
I don't I don't ever think I was like consciously looking for a type of relationship. I think I
also
was
you don't have to have the wrong relationships, you know? Like I could see a guy who walks into a place and he's dressed like he's on a pirate ship and he has just just severe facial hair. You know,
mhm.
I can recognize that guy and I can recognize that's the wrong relationship without getting into it, right? You don't have
Funny
to do
enough,
that.
that is the guy that you almost went home with the night that we first flirted with each other. So that
No,
was
he was dressed like Captain Kangaroo. That
nope.
was he
It
was.
was Captain Cook. He was the what's the rum? Captain
I
Morgan.
wasn't trying to start a relationship with that man, Andy.
You were just
Um,
trying to bang him.
yeah. Um,
Love that.
so well, I didn't. So relax, okay? I came home with the right guy. I made the right decision. So I hope. So I think that's my main beef with this quote, though, is like, I mean, I don't think it's wrong necessarily, but I find it overly simplistic and obnoxious.
But some of my worst relationships were some of the most fun. I mean,
Yeah.
screaming on a subway, uh,
Hmm.
you know, getting kicked out of a house at 3 in the morning, having to take the bus
Hmm.
home, uh,
Yeah.
being invited to a party that was clearly meant to embarrass you. Those all those were like highlights.
Can you explain this party?
Oh, well, it was with a bunch of like professional creatives, and the person I was
Hmm.
dating the whole time would introduce me and tell them I was a mover, like with everybody.
Oh, nice. That's very
Yeah,
sweet.
everything was like, oh yeah, Andy actually works at a moving company, and it was like, did you have to tell the head of that startup that?
You're like, I was also on TV last week. Could you maybe lead with that, please?
Bitch, bitch, take
Yeah.
that. That's my wife standing up for me. In hindsight,
Well, let me let me ask you, were you ever actually having fun? Was there something fun about that for you?
yeah, it was fun like a manic episode, Like it's a
Mhm.
horrible feeling, but in the moment when you get those upswings, boy, are those good, when things are going
And
good.
that is what coaster life is all about. That right there. Okay. That's why I'm a coaster head.
I know. I could get it. I could see it now. Full
Okay,
disclosure,
good.
you guys, Rosebud has already messaged me about planning a trip to a roller coaster trip. So I just want
I
you
want
guys
to
all
do
to
it for
know
my birthday.
this is very real.
I want to do it for my birthday. I'm not kidding.
Mhm. I know.
Fucking loved it.
There's a Six
So
Flags in Mexico City.
is there?
Yeah,
I don't trust that one.
racism. Okay.
It's not
What's the next
racism. I
one?
also don't trust, Valium in Mexico City. All right. Happily ever after is not a fairy tale, Andy. It's a choice.
Hmm.
Thoughts?
Tell that to a widow. Run that one by a widow and see how she made the choice to be widowy. I don't know.
Yeah. Ask somebody whose husband died going to buy her tampons,
Yeah, he got killed by somebody who OD'd in an intersection on fentanyl, and then ask them what choices she made to get there.
hmm
No, I don't like this one. Obviously, I mean, it's obviously saying like you got to work to make love work or something like that, but it's stupid. And happily ever after isn't. It's not a choice. I don't know.
Let me tell you a little story. Okay. There's a comedian who was who basically defrauded the state, taking out money, unemployment money from a state that he did not live in.
You're going real
He has a
current. Okay.
he has a wife,
Uh,
he has 2 kids.
Ooh.
I love this person, by the way, and he just got taken to jail because for fraud. For I guess I don't know what they're gonna catch him
Wire
with,
fraud.
but
Wire fraud.
wire fraud. He's facing up to 22 years in prison. Black guy, wife has a kid on the way. Not great, She is she's probably thinking that happily ever after is not a fairy tale right about at this point,
hmm hmm
or is not a choice. She didn't know.
Unless she's in love with somebody else. That's the only silver lining of this. And then that, but
Well, let's not say that. Let's
probably not, that would be the only way this would work well.
By the
but
way,
yes.
that is like bumming me the fuck out, that news.
Yeah, don't commit fraud, I guess.
I mean, you've been saying that people should on this podcast since day one. So
Well,
I'm a
be
little
smart
disappointed.
about it. Be very smart about actually, you know what? I'm pivoting. I'm doing a quick pivot. Thoughts and prayers with our king. All right. Thoughts and prayers with our king. All of you fraudsters, all you scammers out there, stay safe. Don't leave a
Good.
paper trail. Try to be as low overhead as you can out there, because we don't want to see you guys get hurt. We only want to see you guys flourish, taking money from corporations and the government. Thank you.
Okay, that felt far more authentic. That was much more the Andy Haynes we all know and love.
We all know and love. Yes.
The fucking criminal. Jesus Christ. I read that article and I was like, oh no. Oh
Yeah.
no.
What was the one that you said that you sent me? Something about termites?
Oh yeah, assumptions are the termites of a relationship. That's what it said. That was a Henry Winkler quote.
I kind of like that one. I kind of like assumptions are the termites, because I do think assumptions are pretty corrosive. Like I assume that you have an emotional relationship with a UFC fighter, or maybe a low tier football player right now. And it is, I don't know, I would say that it's definitely not helping my feelings for you,
Yeah, and I'll say that your assumption that the football player is low tier, that's not helping me with my feelings about myself. you know?
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
mean, that doesn't feel good
I
that I
know.
would only get a low tier guy, but so that's an assumption that can harm a relationship. If you are going to assume that your wife is cheating on you, you could at least give her the credit of, someone in the NFL.
Okay, I'll say this. He's a pro. He's a star, but his days are waning. Okay.
Thank you. Okay. Aaron Rodgers. Hit me up.
Definitely. I don't know if you have Shailene's charisma, but I will, it's fine.
Well, he follows whatever. Um,
He follows
so
you? Does
no, he
Aaron Rodgers
doesn't.
follow you?
No, I was gonna say he loves Joe Rogan. Um,
Yeah.
so assumptions are determinants of relationship. I don't yeah, I think that's probably correct. It's like it's the quote that gives me the least trouble.
Also,
Emotionally.
Henry Winkler, I'm kind of a fan. I kind of love Henry Winkler.
Same. We went to the same school. No big deal. But I am a genius, much
The
like him.
CIA Academy of Children.
What?
Wait, wait, hold on. NSA Institute for Spoiled Brats.
It's a swing and a miss. Okay.
I know,
That
I know.
was,
It's something about the government and whatever.
yeah, you had to lean back and look at the sky, grabbing for inspiration for that one.
It's okay. There was something there, and you know what? I'll jump in the holodeck and I'll go back in time and I'll fix it.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I believe in you. Do you think that I'm bad about assuming things about you?
A little. I mean, I don't think they're not, but here's the thing, you don't assume things that are like, you assume like really micro things. Like you
Uh-huh.
assume that I have like a feeling about a thing, or that like something was like vindictive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then I assume things like, you've already filed papers.
Right. Yeah. You
Yeah.
assume big things. I assume small things. Like if I tell Andy um, to put Mouse in the crate at night so that she doesn't piss on the carpet in the morning, I'm going to assume he's not listening about that. But am I wrong?
Well, you don't do it either. So
I do. I do when she's had accidents.
yeah, she hasn't had it. She never has accidents with me, by the way.
I don't see, but here's an assumption. I'm going to assume that's not true and that she sneaks away, has an accident, and you don't notice.
I've been pretty diligent because I've actually been like cleaning the entire apartment while you're gone.
Aw,
Yeah, I'm a really great husband, and
you sure
I
are.
notice things. But Mouse, I took Mouse with me everywhere last night. I had a little mouse
Mhm.
adventure. And then I had like a 1:45 a.m. spot and I wanted to hang out. So I brought her back here and left her for a little bit. But me and Casey Balsham had dinner at the Olive Tree and Mouse came along. And Mouse has her puffer jacket on. So she kind of looks like the monkey from the IKEA. And
Yeah.
when you come back to the car, she's always sitting in the passenger seat with her hands on the dashboard, just looking at you, just like
Yeah.
freaking out. But
Yes.
she has this puffer jacket on now, so it's extra funny because it just looks like she's like a wife that's late to something. She's like, I have Zumba at 2.
Yeah. She's in traffic.
Yeah,
She's in traffic on her way to aerobics.
exactly.
Yeah.
But no, she's
Well,
been really
that's
good. She hasn't been having accidents because she's constipated too. So that's good.
oh good. All right. Well, that's excellent. And just in case any of you are curious, we've been checking up on Charlie a lot. He's at my mom's. He's doing great. He's living his best life. He's hiking every day. He did eat something on the trail this weekend and was barfing everywhere. So he had to go to the vet, which kind of killed me. Um, but he's fine now. So that's good. Uh, and my mom keeps sending me pictures of him every day, and I love it. And it does
That's
make me
cute.
want to cry a little bit, but I love it. So you don't think I'm too bad at assuming stuff? I thought you were going to give a completely different answer to that.
No, it's always just like we had a fight this last week about where I said a joke that did not land with you specifically. I mean, I don't know if it landed with anybody, but you thought I was kind of doing it like you thought, like your assumption was that there was like a whole like resentment kind of backstory to it, and I was just
Brewing, yeah.
being retarded, and so little things like that. And then I just am like, well, she's clearly dating Odell Beckham Jr., so I should probably start planning my next chapter of life. And I'll tell you what it is. Newfoundland fishermen. I looked into it today in the Times. They got cheap houses out there. They need the work. So Justin Trudeau, please approve my visa application. Thank you.
Well, I'm glad that you're planning your next life. It does, having a husband that's constantly fearing the worst of you is a joyride. And
yeah, which is also another part of coaster life. That's right.
Coaster
You gotta
life.
be
Yes. If you're a coaster head, you always want to be on the edge of fear. Okay, we have more in common than you think, Andy.
Did I ever tell you that when I was like, I don't know, 25, 26, so it's like $90 to get a Six Flags membership, or maybe it's like 70, but it's only $10 more to get, well, it's $75 to go into Six Flags, and then it's like $90 to go to Six Flags everywhere for the year, right? So it's like $15 more. And so I bought that. And I used to, when I lived in DC, I would just go to Six Flags on a Wednesday morning, 15 minutes before it opened. I would smoke a blunt in the parking lot. I'm by myself. I'm an adult man by myself. I'd smoke a blunt, and then I would go ride roller coasters by myself in the morning. Like, coffee still hitting my bloodstream. One of the best things I've ever done with my time. It was so fun.
I mean, that's one of those moments where you're on your deathbed and you're like, well, I spent my 20s exactly how you're supposed to.
Yeah.
Just truly doing jack shit and having fun.
Yeah, that was one of the highlights.
Yeah.
The part amazing. Where I was really into reggae music, not so much of a highlight, not as highlighted. But, we all make mistakes.
You're still pretty into reggae.
I don't wear a Jamaican t-shirt anymore.
Thank God. Andy, we have some bad advice questions. Are you ready?
Yes. Rosebud, resuming bad advice. Do you want to hop in the bad advice world?
Yeah, we have one question from Mallory. And folks, thank you so much for writing in your bad advice questions. You can write to us at 917-540-8395. So this week's question is from Mallory, and she is asking if she can get some bad advice on the metaverse.
Well, obviously it's a great idea. Obviously, we all know that it's a great idea. The Zuck has done it again, baby. You have one of the largest corporations in the world. It's being accused of selling people's data, secrets, working with brutal totalitarian governments, all that. No matter. Does not matter.
To bring down the destruction of America.
Pivot, baby. We're not Facebook.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Rebrands.
We're Meta. And also we're new. You can go and you can put this thing on, and all of a sudden, boom, you are in the Nintendo Wii avatar world. And
yeah, and you know what, liberals, if you really supported transitioning, you would be all about this.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. If Facebook wants to transition to Meta, guess what? You got to support them, because that's who they identify as now.
What about this Meta Soprano? Whoa, Meta.
Okay. Wow.
kind of instantaneously became disappointed, and I didn't like that because I feel like just a little bit of support would have kind of helped me
I'm so
get there.
sorry. Yeah, you know what it
Um,
was is the joke and just the accuracy of it and the relevance and all of it, it just shocked me so
mhm.
hard that now it's just now sinking in how brilliant that was.
Sopranos are in. Meta soprano. Okay, it's fun. Meta
It's
soprano.
old and it's new at the same time. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's
Thank
what we
you.
call a multi-hyphenate joke.
Yeah.
It's almost meta if you think about it. What? What? Old and new, same time? It's meta? Yeah, your wife's sharp. Andy's dancing around. He's doing a victory dance for how funny we both are.
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Do you have any announcements for this week, babe?
Just that I will be at the Skyline Comedy Club in Appleton, Wisconsin, the weekend after Thanksgiving. I think that's the 26th and 27th of November. And then that Sunday night, I will be cleansing my palate in the Lincoln Lodge in
Oh yeah.
Chicago, Illinois. And I'll probably be taking your sister's dog and kind of giving it a headlock until it scares me. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Folks, you can look at my road dates on my website, rosebudbaker.com. And again, if you are in New York City, you can come see me at the Fat Black Pussycat Lounge tonight, 7 p.m. Show up around 6 or 6:30 for tickets because we are sold out online. But if you show up early, you can probably get in. Anything else? Let me think. Nope, that's it.
Oh, you
Follow
wanted
the
to remind
pod.
everybody to
That's-
fly Southwest Airlines, right?
No, I did not want to do that. That is not what I wanted to do.
Loser, dude. What are you? What are you doing? MLM in fucking Salt Lake City? Jesus Christ. Fucking Southwest Airlines head ass.
I hate you. You know how difficult this is for me right now? Do you understand? I'm sitting on the floor.
Their executive club is just a TGI Fridays, and everybody's allowed in. I love it. It's great.
It's really upsetting what you're doing right now.
I'm sorry that happened to you, babe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm gonna cry.
You're beautiful.
You guys, make sure you support the Patreon. Thank you. I love you, babe.
I love you
support
too.
the Patreon at www.patreon.com/findyourbeach. And we will speak to you on Friday.
Bye.